Hello there.
Hello, my darlings. Hi. Nice to see you all. Welcome to the stream. How are we all doing today? Yeah. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Meow meow. Welcome in, my darlings. Oh dear, it's nice to see you. Haven't skipped class in a while. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You shouldn't skip my class. It's very important. We're going to be educated today. We're going to be learning. Because you're all dipshits. You're all morons, and I need to teach you something. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just contributing to an issue that is that you guys are all muppets. Ow. Yeah, I deserve that. Hello. Hi, Ruba. Hi, Tori. Hi, Nell. Hi, Natsu. Hi, Violent. Hi, Bloody. Hello, everyone. Got a lot of you. I'm not gonna list you all out. But hello to everyone who is here. Oh, Dustflow. I haven't seen you in ages. Hello. Hello, sweetie. Hi, Hazel. Double Hazel. Hi, Pablo. I ended up saying hi to everyone. Hi, David. Hi, Kamamari. Why not? Why not? Do you think the hot, deep voice? I don't know what that means, but I'm glad that you like how I sound today. Anyone got their homework? Oh dear, don't tell me you haven't done your homework. I'll just have to teach you everything from scratch today, I guess. Blah. You ready to learn? Awesome. Yeah, so we'll let everyone pile in for a little bit. We'll say hello, make sure you're all ready for class, ready to go. Because the issue I've found with our history classes in the past is that once they get started, it's a little hard to keep up if you don't already know things. So what I'm going to try to do this time, learning from our past issues, is I'll try and reiterate things so it's a bit more clear, makes a bit more sense, because obviously people are going to be coming in and out throughout the stream. Hopefully you can all pick it up. Hey Amber, hey sweetie, nice to see you. And thank you for the follow. Thank you very, very much. Private lessons. This is your private lessons. Seems like we're going to be distracted. What? By what? There's no distractions in this class. We've just got a boring old chalkboard and a cute foxcat teacher. What could you possibly be distracted by, huh? Silly things. Wow. But yeah, today I will try my best to learn and not be too distracted. That's the spirit. But yeah. Today the topics are going to be, well, we're doing 2 topics today, which is a bit of a change. In the past we've done a major topic and then a couple of minor topics. We've actually got two major topics. That's 2. There you go. Math class too. Oh my goodness. We've got 2 major topics today. We are covering we're going to be starting, I'm pretty sure, I'd like to start with the Hungarian Golden Bull. And basically what we're going to be covering is the foundation of Hungary as a principality, what makes Hungary into Hungary and what it is today, because initially it starts as, well, Hungary is founded, colonized, founded by a tribal society that's somewhat nomadic. So, this is kind of where it starts, just before the year 1000, and we're going to go until 1222, where the Golden Bull signed, and then we're going to go on a little bit further, and we're going to cover the Mongol invasion, because Hungary, unfortunately for them, kind of gets eviscerated a little bit by the Mongols for a period of time. 67. Hi Aspect, nice to see you. How are you doing, my darling? So we're going to start with Hungary. We're going to cover that. I might try and speedrun it a little bit, because we've got a very exciting topic for the second one that I'm really looking forward to, and that is the Hussite Wars. It's something that's quite new to me in terms of a topic, but my god, it is fascinating, it's fun. Look forward to that, because it is a really, really interesting topic that I am very, very fond of. I'm very excited. Miao's speech would be really funny to redeem. No Miao's speech today. I'll veto that. I'll veto it. Will there be Cumans? There actually will be Cumans. The Cumans that end up joining Sigismund's forces, as you would see in KCD. There's a reason they're in Hungary, and we will be covering that, because we'll be covering why they end up in Hungary, how they interact with Hungary, and all the things that happen during the Mongol invasion that relates to the Cumans, because the Cumans actually have a pretty big part during the Mongol invasion. But we will cover that. It's not in early. The Cumans kind of start showing up towards the end of our story. But yes, they are indeed a quite important tribe. They're a kind of Turkish nomadic steppe people. That their main trait, the main thing that makes them interesting, is that they had a lot of experience fighting the Mongols already. So having a military comprising of Cumans meant that you had a lot of very experienced soldiers that are very good at fighting Mongols. And we'll see how they interact with Hungary and what happens and how that tells our story. But we'll get to that. Okay, you're rushing ahead already. But yes, feel free to ask questions, of course, today. Yeah, context. So much context. Oh my goodness. We're doing the context stream today. We're tailoring this exactly to Violent, who's currently playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a brilliant game. That's based just before the Hussite Wars, which we will be covering later on. In fact, to be honest, that's kind of like the in-between period that it covers, because we finished just before the 1400s. Hi, lovely kitsune. I am a foxcat, not a kitsune. What the hell? But hey, sweetie. Hey, shark. Nice to see you. Hussites, rah! Bloody is check. So if we've got any Czech people today, you get to check my my pronunciation, because that's appalling. I'm sorry. You can tune out now. But yes. Unlike the Hungarian words, I'm gonna butcher the Hungarian words, and I'm goddamn proud of it. Okay, I hope we don't have any Hungarians here, but I did actually look up how to say the Czech names because I'm stupid, and they're genuinely baffling. Like the Hungarian ones, I can kind of piece together, kind of figure out kind of how you'd say them, but how the fuck do you say half this shit? Don't. Okay, all right. Well, not funny. Leave me alone. I probably butchered them worse. Same with the Peshegnegs. That's it. Yeah, Peshegnegs. Yeah, that's gonna happen a lot. Meow. Anyway, shall we get started, my darlings? Shall we begin on our topic? We're gonna start with Hungary. All right. I felt a bit bad for making the Czech joke, but now you guys are just gonna be saying I'm hungry. I'm so hungry in fucking chat the entire stream. So actually, I've decided that I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. How are we gonna do this? I'm gonna put this on my second monitor because I've got a bunch of notes. And actually, let's just increase the zoom a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean like 200%. I probably should have sorted this out beforehand, but there you go. Meow. There you go. I can see it now. I can read. Let me just check something. That seems fine. That is not fine though. Beep. There you go. Alright, I think we're ready to go. I think we're all set up. I think that everything's... I'm quite hungry, actually. It's okay. I am kind of intentionally taking a little bit of time to start up, just because I like to make sure that everyone's in, so everyone's ready to go. So, you know, I don't know, talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'm just going to have a quick drink. And yeah, if you miss something, or you get confused, or you have any questions, please do ask, because it is fun to answer your questions. Let class get to their seats. Okay, we're gonna start then. So, Hungary, as we know it, as a nation, as a place, didn't exist for quite a lot of early European history. I mean, obviously the regional area did exist, but Hungary, as far as kingdoms, go, it was relatively fresh in Europe, and what becomes Hungary is initially an area that is colonized, occupied, taken over by the Magyars. Now, the Magyars are our kind of protagonists at the start of this. The Magyars are the people that will end up, becoming Hungary, and they are a semi-nomadic tribal population. Semi-nomadic being that they do settle down, they do stay in places for a little bit, but not very long. And at the moment, where we begin, which I believe, what? I don't think I wrote a date for when we officially start, but basically the backstory to what's going to be leading these Magyars to come over to this period is basically they have been having wars, conflicts with the Pechennegs. I think that's how you say it. Late 8th to 9th century, thank you, Bravius. They have basically this bitter rivalry with a different semi-nomadic tribe called the Pechennegs. And the Pechennegs are causing a lot of problems for the Magyars. They are taking over a lot of their territory. They are really at each other's throats. On top of that, we also have the backdrop of there's a lot of wars happening just across Eastern Europe at this time. The Kievan Rus. We've covered the Kievan Rus before. I'm not sure if you guys remember that the Kievan Rus are a growing, quite powerful Eastern European nation, based around the city of Kiev. It's been occupied by Scandinavian travelers who have come down the Volga. They've come to live in Kiev, and it's expanded, it's grown, and it's starting to push a lot of the tribal societies, which are less friendly with the Kievan Rus, away. So that's another thing that's happening. On top of that, we've got the Byzantine Empire. That's currently at a period of war. In fact, the Magyars will often find themselves allied with the Byzantines. They will find themselves working as mercenaries, because the Magyars are very good nomadic fighters. So if the Byzantines are having problems with the Pechennegs, for instance, or any other kind of nomadic tribes, they're less experienced in fighting them, so they will hire the Magyars. Sorry, gonna butcher that a few times until I get used to it. They will call them in, and they will be mercenaries because these are very talented fighters. They have a quite strong military backing them, and yeah. So, despite that, this pressure, all these circumstances that are coming together to cause problems, it's driving them away. And because they're semi-nomadic peoples, they decide, you know what? Fuck this place. It sucks anyway. So they cross the Carpathian Mountains, which is modern day. Actually, you know what's even better? I can. Where is it? Come here. Does that show up? Hey, there you go. we can point to them. We can get a little foxcat pointer. Where are our Carpathians? So, modern day, they're around up here-ish. BBB. Here's Hungary, where it'll end up be. Here's the Carpathians. This area here. So they're coming from what is modern Western Ukraine. And they're coming from up here. They cross the Carpathians and they end up in Hungary. Around here, in the Carpathian Basin. And they are led by an interesting fella called Arbel, I believe his name is. I believe that's how you say it. Hold on. Let me just try to clear the map off so I can write things if I need to. But yeah. Is it Arbel? How do I say it? Remind me. Arbel. Arpad. There you go. Arpad. I do apologize. But yeah, they are led by a man called Arpad. And he... The Magyar leadership system's a little complex. It's a little... We won't really go into it too deep. But they basically have two leaders. And Arbel is one of the leaders. There's another leader who isn't very substantial for this story, but quite amusing. Almos, that was his name. The former leader Almos. He was the political leader. But weirdly, the Magyars, despite being semi-nomadic, when they elect a leader, they can only be leader of the area that they've been elected for. So, despite the fact that they do often leave, they have to leave Arbel. Oh yeah, that's why I got confused, yeah. Almost. Yeah, where am I getting this from? Almost got to Hungary, exactly. But he's getting left behind, and all the Magyars cross the Carpathians and end up in Hungary. And apparently, at the time, according to Brovius, because he's taught me a lot of this stuff, that area is now known as Pannonia. What a fun name, what a cute name. So this happens in 895, and they begin to basically settle in the area. There were people there before. They were people who weren't very good at fighting, to put it bluntly. They basically take over the area. They do integrate quite heavily with the area, but there's no kingdom there. There's no major military power, so they just kind of rock up all these few thousand people and just settle down. They start taking to farming, to be honest. They've been moving for a little while, and they're kind of running out of areas to move to, because they are starting to press up against quite a few nations. We've got the Kingdom of Prussia will soon be formed. You've got the HRE, which I don't think is quite there yet. Remind me if it is, Brovius? Yeah, that's the start of Hungarian conquests. Indeed. Meow, 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 meow. But yeah. Yeah, so now that they've taken this area, it's not currently a kingdom. It's still a loose tribal confederation. It's, just a lot of tribes in the area that get along pretty well. They're friendly, they get along. Kingdom of East Francia, which will become the HRE. Yeah, so they can't move as much as they want to. They've been pressured, they're settling down, they're starting to farm, because the pastures that, their cattle, their animals will usually graze on, there's not as many of them anymore. So they are starting to take to farming a little bit, but in the process of doing that, because they cannot graze as much, because they are having issues in terms of getting stuff, they start resorting to a period called adventurous raids. You know, very exciting, very adventurous. Thank you for the 95 stream streak, by the way, Rika. But yes, and that's what it's called. The adventurous raids, where these newly settled Magyars start kind of causing problems for the neighbors a little bit. They rock up and they start raiding areas. At this point, they've basically declared themselves that, yeah, this is our place, we're staying here, and they've declared the Princedom of Hungary. And yeah, they've got these neighbors, they're going in, they're raiding, they're taking things, taking money, taking food, and starting, that makes them quite rich, to be honest. To start with, when people are unprepared for it, they start to make quite a lot of money from these raids. But over time, you know, now that we've got these people, they're causing problems, the neighbors, they start to kind of adapt. And these raids are becoming less and less effective at the moment. So they've got to try something else. They've got to try to become a little more friendly, I guess. There's a big battle that happens in Lichfield, where, yeah, they basically get absolutely abused by Otto I, who will end up becoming the first Holy Roman Emperor. Unless, yeah, we'll say that, for the proper HRE, the actual HRE that we know and love so dearly. So Otto I, he rocks up, he abuses them, and yeah, they stop doing these raids, basically. They become less and less effective, and Europe is starting to modernize. The world's starting to change in this period. We're still just before 1955, thank you, Provis. You're very helpful. The dating is something I've been a bit sparse on. But, yeah, the raids are getting less effective, and, yeah, the world's modernizing. So the Magyars, they can't raid to get past, so they need to modernize a little bit. That is when they start taking on more traditional kind of European-styled farming, infrastructure, bureaucracy, etc., etc. And, you know, this does pretty well for them. The Magyars are really adaptable people. They're very good at adapting to their circumstances, and they managed to pick up this new lifestyle pretty quickly, to be honest. And now this principality is becoming more of an actual principality. It feels like an actual place. That is a country that has sovereignty and control over the lands, rather than just a kind of loose tribal confederation. And the Magyars are starting to change, and they're starting to adapt to that, live more peaceful lives, etc., etc. Yeah, I have a Discord server that you are welcome to join. Of course. But yeah, any questions so far? Any details you want expanded on? I'm going past relatively quickly. There's quite a lot of history here. This is basically a bit of backstory before we get to the main thing, about how Hungary is formed, where it comes from, where did it go, where did you come from, Conlai Joe? I'm just gonna have to... I'm sorry. I got a little bit of energy today. Can you believe? Me, of all people. Imagine there's not too many questions just far. Meow meow. You will get hugged. What the hell? Sedentary lives and intermingling with local Slavic populations. Exactly. No more nomadics. Although they do maintain, and this will become quite important later on, they do maintain a lot of their nomadic traditions and all the stuff that came from that. So while they're not technically nomadic anymore, and they've settled down, it is still very important to them that they are maintaining their kind of nomadic lifestyle. To a certain extent. And that's still very important to them in this period. But that will begin to change, and that will begin to become a little bit challenged. Pneumatics, excuse me. Nomadic. Oh, hi Nemo, hey sweetie. Hey sweetie, how are you doing today? But yeah, because now there's a new leader. There's a new leader in 940. Geza, or Giza. How do you say it? Giza? I can't remember. I think it's Geza. Geza adopts Christianity as part of a treaty. This is something you actually see a lot during this period throughout. Lots of, quote-unquote, pagan nations are getting really frightened by the Crusades, to be completely frank. And a lot of pagan nations are starting to Christianize an awful lot. And this also happens to Hungary. And Geza adopts Christianity. Because, to be honest, Christianity has started to become a little bit popular in Hungary. There are people who are starting to embrace it. There are missionaries coming. And, most importantly, there's a massive Christian nation right next door that has previously abused Hungary and demolished their armies, and that is the HRE and Otto I. So under that pressure, there's a lot of fervor at the moment for Christianity, a lot of pressures going on, and Geza, he officially becomes Christian, but what you'll see is that he wasn't really a Christian. And again, that kind of happens a lot across the world. I'm thinking back to the Vikings. They like to do that an awful lot, where they kind of say that they're changing, but they're not. But Geza, not really a proper Christian, but he says that he'll become a Christian. He says that he is a Christian. Also, hi, Wi-Fi killer. Hey, sweetie. Nice to see you. And yeah, he makes a deal with Otto I to do this. In exchange, he gets a little bit out of it too. So while he becomes a Christian, and this opens the door to Christianity, Christian missionaries, all that sort of stuff, he still kind of secretly maintains his traditional practices, not openly, but they're still there. But he is basically, he makes an alliance with Otto I in exchange for becoming a Christian, and he offers his son István to marry the daughter. Is it a daughter? No, the sister. No, sorry, yes, the daughter of Otto I, who is the sister of Henry II. And they get married. She's a very devout Christian because it's the HRE, and his son István, well, Geza isn't super Christian. His son becomes very, very Christian. He becomes very passionate about Christianity, and he will be a big driver of change later on. István. You want me to spell it for you? Istvan. István. But yeah. So, after Geza dies in 997, we have our first of a theme. You're going to see a lot of these that happen, but there's a succession crisis. I know, it's shocking. Medieval history and a succession crisis? Never. But it does happen. Hungarian version of Stefan. Yeah. Because István's a Christian, but Hungary, well, technically Christianizing, is still very traditional. It's still got a lot of these Magyar practices that have stayed around, and a leader called Kopany is a pagan, and he loves, he continues to practice pagan rituals and the kind of tribal practices that are normal. And the tribal leaders and, the non-Christians want him to be ruler. Because currently, under this system, under tribal, it's elected, basically, Someone is chosen. But under Christianity, we have primogeniture. I don't think it's called primogeniture at that point, but it's the same thing. Christians use their sons. They inherit their titles. So we've got these Christians who believe that István, the son, should become the ruler. And you have these tribal Magyars who say that it should be this elected person, this person we really like, who is Kopany. Thank you for the follow. Emoxivo. Hi, sweetie. Sorry for butchering your name. We're doing a lot of butchering today. Also, Nume, thank you for the resubs. Thank you, darling. 7 months. Hell yeah. 40k brained. Hell yeah. Violence playing Kingdom Come right now. We are covering the Hussite Wars later on, so it's very appropriate. Sorry. Not focusing on the assets. How dare you? How dare you? 1 sub close to the stream. True. But yeah. So, this secession crisis happens. But, obviously, as we know, István, he's got friends in high places. He is married to the sister of Henry II. He is a strong ally of the HRE, And the HRE is very big and very scary, and he gets the support of the HRE. And as a result, he wins this secession crisis. He is, sorry, my lisp is getting murdered today because there's a lot of S's. Let me have a little sip of water. Blah. I know. Mean. Should be abuse to make me say secession. Oh dear. Anyway, so Kopany is defeated at the Battle of Veszprém. Veszprém? Fucking hell. It is close enough. Where Kopany is killed and István secures rulership. He is now in charge. He is now our big boy, and very conveniently, István becomes the first king of Hungary in a really difficult to remember date of the year 1000. On the date, year 1000, he is crowned the king, no longer a principality, a kingdom of Hungary. And yeah, it's independent of the HRE, but it's very, very close with the HRE. They're joined at the hip at this point in history. That may change. They're saying funny German words, and it makes me sad. HRE. Oh, sorry. I think I've just been saying HRE. The Holy Roman Empire. The HRE. Sorry. I forget that I need to specify things sometimes. Yeah. The HRE is the Holy Roman Empire. It's a very large. It's basically Germany. It's a very big kind of German empire. A little bit of Italy. A little bit of. It's just a big empire. Very scary. Big military. Very unstable. But yes. If I say HRE, that's what I mean. I typoed it to HRT many times, so maybe I'm just a silly little creature. What do you guys are saying very strange things in chat. I am trying to read chat every now and again, but you guys are just being like, defeated for fetus? Like, well, alright buddy, class B yapping, yeah, silence in the back. I'm kidding, you can talk. You can talk, but say things that make sense. That would be really lovely. Hungarian replacement therapy? That happens a little bit later on. Ma'am, if I fail one part of the exam, it's because of your HRE. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm stupid. Anyway, whatever. Year 1000, István is crowned the first king of Hungary. Stefan I, István I, and he will rule for a relatively long time, to be honest. Compared to how long other kings are going to rule at this period. But yeah. István is a very devout Christian, and of course we've just had this massive succession crisis that is based on conflict between Christians and traditionalists. And Stefan, fucking István. I'm going to call him István. I'm going to keep calling him István. I won't cave to you people. István is now going to crack down on these tribal leaders. Until now, they've been semi-autonomous. They've been doing their own things in different areas. He basically kind of tries to bring it all together. He starts a lot of wars against these independent, semi-independent tribal leaders, takes over the areas, basically extends the crown's authority to most of Hungary. One of the most important ones that he fought was against Gyula. Yeah, Gyula, why not? Gyula the Younger, who was the ruler of Transylvania, and István's uncle. Oh wait, yeah. So, after that battle, that was basically the end of significant, pagans within the country. You know, these kind of rebellious tribal leaders, they're all gotten rid of, basically. There's still, of course, individual people with more pagan beliefs, but this is where Christianity really starts to take over in Hungary. But yeah, it's now... This is a period called the unification of the Carpathian Basin, which is a very big, fun sentence to say if you want to sound really smart and know what you're talking about. What are your thoughts on the unification of the Carpathian Basin? And someone will look at you and be like, what the fuck are you on about? And you can then tell them everything you've learned in this lesson. But yes, this is now laying the foundations for a centralized, more Christian monarchy. It's quite a progressive thing. It happens over time. Different rulers will increase, change things, move things around an awful lot. This is a very long, kind of generalized period of history. But, yeah, the main thing that István does after he's kind of wrestled control of everything is he becomes very, very strict. Very, very kind of brutal towards the tribal leaders. But he's also quite a good Christian, to be honest, because he adds some new laws, basically, which are very, very focused on generosity. You know, kind of legally enforced generosity, such as one of his more progressive ones is that women can, women have to inherit at minimum a quarter of their father's land. So women out here getting inheritance, which is quite progressive for the time, but also travellers, because Hungary is on a popular kind of pilgrim route, lots of pilgrims coming through, and because of their kind of travelling origins, there's laws that you have to protect travellers, and anyone caught not doing that will get in a lot of trouble. So, you know, there's different laws put in place, but also it's very strict against people who are not Christian. So, yeah. I think one of the main things that he introduced, István lays down the law, exactly. W women, for real, for real. Did you see my question? Sorry, I didn't. I did just see it, and the answer is I'm not responding to that. That's not quite the questions I had in mind. Teacher, I'm struggling on this question. Can you lean over to help? Yeah, man. Yeah. You need some help from your teacher. Yeah. What are you stuck on? Huh? Yeah. Stupid. You guys are something else. Did you know that? Misbehaving, naughty, lying to me, by the way, especially naughty, fucked up even.
My booby, my
anatomy class. Oh my god. Okay.
My super stuffed up milky.
Okay.
My hunger bonger.
You get that out your systems for a second, chat.
Fabric stretching, wind flapping, gravity welling sex now.
You get that out your system. Technowire, hey sweetie, nice to see you. Hi. Anyway. Meow. Meow. Where were we? I've already forgotten because I'm stupid. Oh, that was it. So, one of the main things that he introduces is a form of what I personally call a little bit of a quasi-feudalism. Because Hungary is quite interesting. It doesn't do feudalism in the same way that you see in Western Europe. But they do have a kind of feudal system. But it's more direct. It is a more direct system where, essentially, the royal, the crown owns Hungary, like, as a whole. But he basically employs caretakers of the land. These people who are more like knights than counts. You kind of skip the middleman with dukes and counts. And they have these kind of knights. And the knights are, essentially, they're fighting men. They're there to fight. They're there to manage levies, all that sort of stuff. It's a more militaristic view on the feudal system. And they answer directly to the king. And that actually, we'll see, is quite a benefit in keeping things stable. Because what you see in a lot of civil wars in other countries under the feudal system is that a particular baron will get a lot of power. And he has all these counts and all these knights that report directly to him. And their loyalty isn't to the king, it's to this baron. So, skipping that middleman it's quite a powerful way to avoid rebellion. The only issue is when there is a secession crisis, it becomes a lot worse. Because now you've not got to win over just your barons, you've got to win over all the knights that you've got, which are a lot more numerous. But yeah. Hi Fruitless, hey sweetie, nice to see you. Beautiful, enjoying your stream. I'm glad you are, my darling. Hopefully you can learn a little bit. But yeah, so I feel like I'm going quite slowly through this. I think we should speed up a little bit because I do want to cover the Hussite wars, and that's a lot more interesting in my opinion. But yeah, beep 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 boo. During this time, to be honest, this is about as peaceful as it gets in Hungary. For the early medieval period, it's pretty calm. Things just be going on. to be honest, he's very close to HRE, so he kind of acts as a mediator for them. He's not quite the HRE. If people have problems with HRE, that's their own issues, but if the HRE needs a hand with anything, then István's here to help out, and Hungary, yeah, basically the right-hand man of the HRE. Really good friends. They make out, they kiss a little bit, just a little bit, because they're on the border, but it's fine. But of course, as all good things do, it had to go incredibly, horribly wrong, because these tight friendships that we had going was of course defeated by an immediate succession crisis, because the relations with the HRE significantly decline after Henry II dies, because the HRE, which you'll notice is a flaw for a lot of its history, it's an electoral system. So all the dukes get together and they elect a new leader. But the thing is that the new leader, Conrad II, has absolutely no ties to Hungary at all. You know, the reason the HRE was so friendly with Hungary is because they were married. Well, he was married to his sister, but that doesn't matter anymore. No one gives a shit. So Conrad II, to be honest, was a bit of a fucking arsehole. He saw Hungary as a threat. He still saw a lot of pagans. He saw a lot of paganism. He didn't believe that Hungary had really fully converted to Christianity properly. So thank you, Tekocat. What a cute name. Thank you for the follow, darling. So he invades them. Yeah, you know, these countries, really good friends for ages. But in 1024, Henry dies in 1024, but they invade in 1030. And yeah, actually, funnily enough, in this story, Hungary does get a bit of a losing streak at some point. But for now, they actually do very well for themselves, because they employ a lot of their kind of traditional military tactics, which is that they employ scorched earth, essentially. As they retreat, as they leave things behind, they basically preemptively raid their own lands, they burn the crops, etc., etc., and the Holy Roman Empire's army can't supply itself. It can't survive. So they're basically like, well, shit, I guess we'll go. And they leave. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, I completely agree. But yeah, they give up and they head off and they go home. And Hungary basically goes back to a status quo victory. You know, they was a bit brutal, but they win. And they keep their borders, and the Holy Roman Empire's like, alright, fine. I guess we can't steal all your land. Who knew I'd find online classes on Twitch? Hell yeah. Me neither. It's just something I enjoy doing. It's mostly just me being a bit silly, doing a bit of reading, and wanting to share it with you because it's fun. So yeah. But of course, you know, yippee, yahoo! Hungary's independence is assured. Everything is so good and so happy. Nothing could possibly go wrong. And of course, everything immediately goes wrong a year later, because István fucking dies. He dies in 1031, and his son... Oh no, sorry, no! He doesn't die, his son dies. I got it the wrong way around, I apologize. Yeah, Emmerich fucking dies, and as a result, he now doesn't have an heir anymore. So, immediately, the Arpad dynasty is starting to kind of fall apart a little bit. There's lots of branches of it. Arpad, of course, being our original leader. Also, thank you, Big Raf, for the follow. About Arpad being our original leader that brought the Magyars into Hungary. This dynasty, there's loads of them, to be honest, and they've all kind of got somewhat of a claim to the crown at the moment. So, a lot of nobles side with one part of the dynasty, a lot of them side with the others. Vassal, István distrusts him due to associations with pagan traditions, so we've got another issue here with Christian versus paganism. But then we've got the more preferred one, the one that István designated, which is his nephew, Peter Oceleo. Yeah, that'll do, as heir. But he wasn't very Hungarian, and that caused a lot of problems for people. He was actually of Byzantine upbringing. He was raised in the Byzantine Empire, but when István I dies in 1038, Peter comes to power, but his legitimacy is contested. There's a lot of problems with that. Of course, we've got this other successor who wants to be in charge, but being the Christian ruler, Peter kind of, gets his way. But after this point, Hungary has about... We're doing a bit of a time skip here, because for about 2 decades, it's very complex, very confusing. Hungary basically tears itself apart. There are so many leaders that just fight, and there's so many people. I think there's like 10 rulers in a period of less than 10 years. It goes back and forth many times, and it's very chaotic. So we will skip past that just for now, because in 1046 there is an uprising, and this is the important one. Whatever this dynasty is struggling, yeah, it is indeed. Hungary is very unstable dynastically, and that's a theme throughout its history. How did his son die? A hunting accident. So I assume that I don't know exactly how he died, I just know it's a hunting accident, so he may have fallen from his horse. That's usually how it happens. Someone falls from their horse during hunting and fucking dies. But yeah, Varda's uprising is the final major... This is where paganism basically dies out in Hungary, because this is the final major pagan uprising in Hungary. It's directed against the foreign clergy, Christianization, all this sort of stuff. There's lots of anger, and while it's mostly been suppressed in the past, all this instability has given rise to pagans wanting to kind of go back to the old ways that they used to have. But here's the HRE again. The HRE that invaded like 10 years ago. They're like, I know we tried to invade your country, but actually I'd really rather that the Christian side wins, so we're going to come and help you. So yeah, the HRE sends an army, defeats Varda's uprising, and at this point, paganism's just kind of gone now. There's no significant movements anymore for it. It still exists for a period of time afterwards, but it never gets much political leeway. It continues to be suppressed by Christianity. All the crusades that are happening, lots of fervor around Christianity. It just kind of peters out from this point. So Varda's uprising, that's kind of the end of paganism in Hungary. We're now a fully Christian nation in Hungary, as far as, our larger outlook is concerned. Obviously, in personal levels, that can be different. But in terms of the nation, yes. But it still has its roots. It still has its roots in Magyar traditions and whatnot. It's just largely gone and replaced with Christian ones, to be honest. The things that they could get away with, you know what I mean. We start to notice a pattern which later on the Habsburgs take advantage of. Exactly. It is really unstable. Yes, this is history class. Hey, Rosho. Rosho, you're Czech, right? We're doing the Hussite Wars later. You can rate my pronunciation, which I know I pronounce your name wrong, which is quite funny. But yeah, my thought of hunting accident is when an animal managed to get the hunter and outsmarted them. I don't think that was the case, but that would be funny. But yeah, anyway. So, we now have... Do you remember right at the start what drove the the Magyars to Hungary past the Carpathians? It was a nasty that's a horrible adjective, but it was these real thorns in the side of Hungary, which are the Pechenegs, or Pechenegs, or however you say it. In 1068, they invade Hungary. They've been causing problems for a really long time for them, and finally, the Pechenegs decide to invade Hungary and are quite soundly defeated. So after years and years of rivalry, the Pechenegs are kind of kicked out of Hungary, and they are no longer a major problem anymore. And yeah, we have another little period of kind of peace, kind of sort of maybe just a little bit, until we have Ladislaus. Actually, yeah, I say peace. It's not really, to be honest. There's still a lot of secession issues. But we now have an actual strong ruler. Finally, after all these years of fighting, in 1077, a strong leader, Ladislaus I, who basically managed to get a grip of the country, strengthen the royal authority over the entire domain, and basically was able to hold onto the crown where his predecessors couldn't. So he did pretty well for himself. He kind of calmed down all this secession a little bit, and in 1091, Hungary having stabilized a little bit now, enters a union with Croatia. After they invade Croatia, union seems very pleasant, but actually they basically just took over Croatia and decided it'd be too much work to annex it entirely. So they're just like, you know, this country that we just beat the shit out of, we're besties now, we're good friends, aren't we? And it's just like Croatia's fucking bloodied and bruised and like, yeah, sure. But yes, Croatia is now, yeah, the king is now part of, the king is now king of Hungary and Croatia. So we've now got this little union. So we're now moving on to 12th century Hungary. This is where things start to get a bit more exciting, a bit more political. Somehow the Pechenegs returned, exactly. Enter the union militarily, exactly. Get integrated in it. Abused, poor things. Oh dear, the Czechs are talking to each other. What drove them to Hungary? It was the Pechenegs, like I said before. And also the expansion of the Kievan Rus, which would eventually become Russia. But that was sort of in the area as well. They started to occupy previous Magnar lands. Magnar. Yeah. So yeah. You got a hydrate redeem, by the way. I don't, but you can just tell me and I'll go drink water. I'm not stubborn like that. I can just get a little... I got water, I got monster. Actually... Brovius, left or right? Left or right, Brovius? You get to decide. Left, that's the monster! Ha ha ha, you fool, you chose wrong. And I get a sip of Meowster. There we go. And they're in a new position. What are they? Oh, you chose right? Yippee! You wanted me, let me have Meowster. Thank you. You're so kind. You're so generous. Trick question, both are monsters. Yeah, I got 2 monsters. Exactly. I'm in the USA learning things. Hell yeah. To be honest, I'm European and I didn't know any of this stuff until I actually read about it for a little bit. Lego Princess, thank you for the follow, darling. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Anyway, let's carry on. We're now in the 12th century for Hungary. And currently Hungary's in a real pickle. They're in a real situation where they've just taken over Croatia. They're now in a union. And Croatia and Hungary are surrounded by everything. All over the place, there are problematic neighbors who could fucking murder them if they really, really wanted to. So Hungary at the moment is trying to balance these relations because some of them don't like each other very much. You've got the Byzantine Empire down south. You've got the HRE, Holy Roman Empire, to the west. And then up north, you have the Kingdom of Poland. And also, you've got, over here, you've got the Kievan Rus. You've still got a bunch of tribes over in southern Ukraine, modern southern Ukraine, that are also a little problematic for Hungary, even with the Pechenegs defeated. But yeah, so they've got a lot to worry about at the moment. But, hey chat, will you get... A problem arises, and can you guess what the problem is? I bet you can't. It's really difficult. It's really confusing. You would never see it coming, but can you imagine what the next crisis, the next issue is that comes up? It's totally not a theme. It's a secession crisis. Exactly. It happens again. It happens a lot. It really, like, that is... It will happen here. It will happen again. It's going to keep happening. But yeah. The issue that's starting to arrive now because of these strong foreign countries that are really getting powerful in the area is rival claimants usually have a foreign backing now, which means that you've got these very heavily militarized, very heavily funded claimants that are, just coming in, rocking up with huge armies and lots of money. And yeah, it's really starting to cause problems, and it's just making the issue worse and worse and worse. There is constant civil war at the moment. And yeah, there's just a lot of outside influence over Hungarian politics. So, that's the issue that we're now facing again. It's all very unstable. But, in 1172, we have the rise of a very interesting leader. And we have Bela III. Actually, I think I might have made a mistake earlier. I think I confused Bella. Someone else for Bella. Or, well, yeah. Either way, this is Bella. Bella was raised in the Byzantine Empire, and Bella had, a lot of experience in administration. The Byzantine Empire is very famous for its stuff. Also, sorry, I missed earlier. Azanet, thank you for the follow. Azan Lamat. Something like that. Thank you for the follow, darling. Much appreciated. Sorry. But yeah, Bela III, 1172. He comes to rule Hungary and Croatia, and he is very good at administrating stuff. He's learned from the Byzantines. I don't know what the adjective is. Adjective? Yeah, I guess so. But he's learned a lot from them, and he basically really stabilizes the nation. It becomes a very strong economic power during this period. He genuinely brings Hungary from being this kind of slightly bullied nation that's in constant civil war to being this massive economic powerhouse that just is incredibly wealthy. It's starting to rival fucking the Western powers. It's got more money than the fucking HRE. You know, it's doing very, very, very well for itself and very, very wealthy. Haley, Baba, Lagu Princess. Hi, thanks for your warm welcome. I love you guys. You love me. Oh my goodness, I love you too. Mwah, 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 mwah. I hope no rat problem gets added to the mix later on. I don't think I cover a rat problem. What are you talking about there? I might have missed that. This is a very general overview because we're basically giving the backstory to the Golden Bull. That's kind of the focus of the story, is the Golden Bull. So we may miss some Hungarian history that I'm not aware of. This is basically just a very big overview, which is fun, to be honest. Rovius, thank you for the gift sub to Lagu Princess. That's very, very kind of you, my darling. They forgot to pick up the pedal from the king's courtroom and the king stepped on it. I got a boo-boo. Excuse me? Oh, is that you guessing what the crisis was? I see. Not quite, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let us continue. So yeah, it's now very, very powerful, but this is where we get to the main focus and what we're talking about here, which is the Golden Bull of 1222. As you'll come to learn, there's no actual bull like the animal. I was really disappointed. I was hoping there was a bull that they painted gold, but apparently that just means like a decree. So I'm sorry if anyone's really excited for a really shiny bull. That's not happening. I'm sorry. I was disappointed too. Hungarian Magna Carta, exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know if I'm human anymore. Oh my goodness. You can be a foxcat like me. But hi, Fruitless. Thank you for the 268 bits. Much appreciated. Oh, hi, Aya. Hey, sweetie. But yeah, we have the rise after Bela III. We have our guy here. We're gonna call him the guy. The son of Bela III is Andres, or Andrew II. He ended up participating in the Crusades. This is during the period of the Crusades. The Fifth Crusade he takes part of, and part of the deal for him becoming the next king is that his father, who was a very fervent Christian, said, if you want to be king, you got to take part in the Crusades. So that's why he's taking part in the Crusades for a long time. That was part of his deal. And yeah, during his time here, he tried to increase the royal influence that he has, because he needs a strong army right now to do the Crusades. He needs to be powerful militarily, and the way that he goes about doing this is he tries to basically increase his rapport with his people, and he does this by rewarding his supporters with land. Who remembers the War of the Roses, and who remembers one of the biggest issues that Henry II faces? Henry V faces, and it is that unfortunately giving land to people just willy-nilly is a really, really good way to piss a lot of people off. And indeed, that's exactly what happens. Exactly what happens. This pisses a lot of people off because we have the royal servants. These are the people I mentioned before. They're basically the knights of Hungary. They're not counts, they're not dukes. They are military leaders who own land and look after the land on behalf of the king. And basically, they get really pissed off by this. They're very, 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 very unhappy that the king's just giving land to people willy-nilly in exchange for their support. Because, you know, they had the land before, so it's they're not very happy about it. So they are directly subordinate to the king, as we said before, but the opposition is starting to grow here. They've got a lot of influence, and these magnates, the royal servants, aren't very happy with them. And they basically organize. They make an army, essentially, and they say, here's our big army, do what we say or we're going to come and fucking murder you. Also, thank you for the follow, Recto. What is with your guys' names today? They're so hard to read. Rataconymphina. Thanks, darling. Have you considered having an easier name? Hervanax, that's an easier name to say. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, darling. Anyway, yes, so Andras II, under this big army that's breathing down his neck, is basically forced to issue the Golden Bull. A bull being a declaration. The reason it's called the Golden Bull is because it is this golden seal that is basically, you know how you use a wax seal. It's a seal of gold. It's put on a document and it says this is an official royal declaration. And the Golden Bull is signed, and it gives all these royal servants a bunch of rights that they didn't have before. And the main ones, the major provisions of them, is it basically gives a limitation on royal authority. And that is, nobles could not be arrested without legal judgment. Nobles are exempt from taxation, which is really interesting. That feels like a rarity. I might be corrected on that by anyone. Sorry, it's okay. I forgive you, my darling. I forgive you. Right to open carry, not quite. Well, I guess they probably also had that right because they're not allowed to be arrested. But yeah, she's cooking. Sorry, am I yapping about things? The bit redeems don't push. Oh, sorry. Have you redeemed something? What have you redeemed, my darling? Am I stupid? What did you redeem? Did I miss it? Am I stupid? It might be that my current software that I use for this has an update. I can check real quick. Give me a second. I'll carry on reading the declarations that they added in a second. I've got to manually go check. Oh, you wanted good... Okay, sorry. That didn't pop up for me. That's very annoying. I'm sorry. You want a good boy, Fruitless? Do you want me to tell you what a good boy you are? Was it Fruitless? Yeah. Alright, come here. Come here. Alright, come here. You've been listening so well for me, darling. You're such a good boy. You're gonna be so clever, and you're gonna do so well in class. My little good boy. Cutie. Pet, pet, pet. Yum, yum, yum. Mwah. Mwah. Good boy. And thank you for being a good little goober. I'm Discord verified. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hi, Chavez. Hey, sweetie. Or Shaves. I can't remember which one it is. But hi. You know, I said no more bits, but... Oh, what? You want to be a good boy? Stop distracting me. I'm trying to do my fucking lesson. How dare you? You've aggroed Bravius. I know, it's crazy. You need to be put in a big dog cage. Like a doggy park. Alright, I feel like we're getting sidetracked a little bit here, guys. I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, nobles are exempted from taxation. That's Article 3. Nobles could freely dispose of inherited property by will if lacking male heirs, except for their daughter's quarter. So do you remember that law? It was put in ages ago. Yeah, daughters still have a legal right to a quarter of the inheritance, at minimum, which is a really nice law for them, to be honest. So that's still... Yeah, that's still there from Ishtran I. Nobles are also exempted from jurisdiction of county officials. So basically, they're a lot more independent now. They can't be told what to do by these people who have been willy-nilly given land for supporting. And nobles, finally, are required to serve in foreign military campaigns. But only if they're paid for it. So now they have to get money in exchange for going to war. So, as a result, this made the royal servants the core of the Hungarian nobility. They are the most important people now, and that would go on to basically influence all of Hungarian history from there on out up until they... I don't know, when did they lose the... I was about to ask, when did they lose their nobility? I guess World War One. Yeah, I guess so. With the Archduke. I don't actually know what happens there. What happens to... because they obviously have the Austria-Hungary, so I imagine that's to do with the crowns merging or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what happens there. That's a bit far in the future. But yes, that's still... Istvan, the lawmaker, exactly. My kings are self-inserting myself on people's kings. What? We're doing history, darling. Are you okay there, are you? Blame the Habsburgs? I am. I will. Hi, Shimmy. Hi, sweetie. I'm sorry for being late. How fucking dare you? Detention. With me, privately. Just you and I. Oh, damn. So, we are going to talk a little bit about the consequences of everything that happened here, because we're going to go a little bit into the future, not much. We're going to go from 1222 to the Mongol invasion in 1241. So, we now have... I wonder how much people know about the Mongols, because this is it's an interesting period of history. But yeah, we've got the Mongolian horde under Batu Khan, and he is the founder of the Golden Horde. This is a big horde that's expanding westward into Europe, and Hungary is about to face the absolute brunt of it. And indeed they do. Oh, by the way, this is also the point in which the Cumans come to Hungary. So, Nell was asking earlier, when do Cumans arrive in Hungary? That's when. Just after the Golden Horde, because the Mongolians come all the way through Turkey, and that's where the Cumans kind of lived initially, and yeah, the Cumans are basically kicked out there. They come to live in Hungary. So, under Bela IV, who came into power in 1235, it's basically his job to deal with this. 40,000 Cumans, exactly. 500 cigarettes. Not the Cumans, ragey. Yes. But Bela has these 40,000 Cumans rocking up into Hungary, and it's a bit problematic, because at this time, Hungary is now Christian, it's fully Christian, but the Cumans aren't. The Cumans still have pagan practices. But Bela IV decides that instead of being kind of, aggressive towards them, he wants to convert them to Christianity. He agrees that they can come and stay in Hungary, they can come live here and find safe haven here, in exchange for them converting to Christianity. This pisses a lot of people off, and I will start telling you exactly who gets pissed off soon enough. But these humans, Bela's goal is viewed as very, very noble by the church. He gets a lot of favor from the church because of this. And the church is really on his side, but a lot of people are not. The Cumans, another kind of reason why they're kept around is they're one of the only armies in Europe that are experienced in fighting the Mongols. So they're very useful to have around. They're familiar with fighting in the steppe. They're familiar in the tactics they used by the Mongols. So having experienced soldiers who can, help them out will be really, really helpful. But, unfortunately, there's an attempted emergency mobilization. Frederick II, the Duke of Austria, rocks up, tries to help repel this Mongol invasion, but it all goes wrong. It all goes absolutely tits up, because something happens. Because we've got these pagan Cumans trying to, team up, work with these Christian armies, a fight breaks out. Quite literally, a fight breaks out. And the leader of the Cumans, despite his royal protection, is murdered. And there's some people say that Frederick II of Austria was behind it. He instigated the fight. He didn't like the idea of having to fight alongside pagans, and he kind of wanted a bit of a power grab, hoping that this would cripple Hungary. And indeed, it actually does. It does. The Cumans abandon Hungary. They raid the countryside as they leave, causing destruction before the Mongols have even arrived. And then, yeah, now that the humans are gone, some of the best fighters that the Hungarian army would have available to fight the Mongols. At the Battle of Mohi, they are eviscerated. They do not stand a chance. They are completely defeated, and the Mongols completely take over the nation. It is pillaged, it is destroyed. Almost 15% of the entire population of Hungary is wiped out entirely by the Mongol horde. And when they finally withdraw, they've been around for a little bit, but when they... Hey, Robin. Sorry, hi, Robin. Hey, sweetie. Nice to see you, darling. Sorry, I'm yapping. I'm in full yap right now. And Ionid, thank you for the 15 stream streak, darling. Much appreciated. But yeah, once the Mongols finally withdraw, Bela's managed to escape. Bela the Fourth has actually managed to escape during this. Yeah, it lasts for a year. And finally, Bela is in charge of rebuilding Hungary. And in Hungary, he's known as kind of the second founder of the state, because the state's just ruined now. And Bela's job from that point is to rebuild Hungary from what it was. He invites settlers, he brings the Cumans back. And yeah, these all kind of... Yeah, this leads to Hungary's political system completely changing, how they run the military. And basically Hungary starts from scratch. So, you know... They had to restart a bit, unfortunately for them, but that is where they restart. And yeah, we shall leave Hungarian history there, because that's about as far as we got. I think Brovius did some extra research, if you want to share that, but that's just what I've got on my notes. I know you updated your notes, but I didn't have a chance to read them, because I'm going to have a little break, we're going to have a little chat for a little bit, and then we've got the second topic that we're going to cover today, and I want to make sure we've got time for it, because I've been yapping for a little while. But that lasted about an hour. That's kind of a pretty good amount of time, because we're going to be covering the Hussite Wars, which is very exciting. I love the Hussite Wars. They're so cool. Yeah, so that is a bit of Czech history now. We're doing a lot of this sort of area. Is the Czech Republic Eastern Europe? Are we calling it Eastern Europe here? No, it's probably Central Europe, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, ignore me. All right. You know, close enough. Eastern Central Europe. But yeah, I'm going to have a quick little drink. Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. But yeah. Did you guys find that interesting? Do you have any questions for me? Anything you want clarification on? Brovius can probably help you a lot. I can probably help you a little bit. I know a lot of you missed the very beginning. If you want anything clarified, or any characters that you weren't really familiar with who they are, I'm more than happy to catch you up. But yeah, meow, meow, meow. That's basically early medieval Hungary, in a nutshell, very quickly, in an hour. I did rush through it a little bit, just because we've got a lot to cover today. The Hussite Wars are even more complex than that. But in a fun way, to be honest. I love the Hussite Wars. Such an interesting, fascinating period. March of 1242, news of the death of Ogedei Khan, the second Khan of the Mongolian Empire, prompted Batu Khan to order a withdrawal of the Mongolian forces as he wished to attend the election of his successor with sufficient forces. Jesus. Yeah, I've got to rock up with my big old army to make sure that I become in charge. That's very Mongolian. But hey, if it worked for him. If it worked for him. Blah. I have a question. How did Caesar get a salad named after him? No idea. I'm going to be real with you. No clue. I'll tell you one thing we didn't learn, which is a fun little tangent that we had when I was talking to Brovius. You'll have to remind me of the Latin of it, but I was really curious. We were talking about the Hungarian king being crowned in the year 1000, and I was like, did they know it was the year 1000 then? Like, was it the year 1000 for them? Because that's the Gregorian calendar, which introduces the AD BC. So I was like, what year was it? And shockingly, that's a really hard question to answer. They did have the Julian calendar, so a year was still 365 days, with leap years. But yeah, they did not have they didn't have the AD BC thing, because the Julian calendar comes from 45 BC, and obviously you didn't have the people during the Julian, during Julius Caesar's period being like, oh yeah, someone asks, what year is it? What year was it last year? And they're like, oh yeah, it was 23 BC. What's BC? Fuck if I know. So I was wondering, what did they measure the year off of? What year would they have said? And the answer, I don't know what the Latin is, but it's from, because I've forgotten, but the Romans would measure it from the foundation of their city, which was based on a book, and that's where the Latin comes from, which is a book about the Roman history and all that sort of stuff. It's lots of editions, and it covers all the years of Roman history. And they would say that it was, I believe it was 735 years before the Julian calendar. So they would say that it was the year 735. But most people wouldn't use that. That's how a historian would use it. But instead, Romans actually put a lot of emphasis on who was the consulate at the time. Who was in charge, whose reign was it. So they wouldn't say a year. That's a more modern thing, is being like, oh yeah, it's the year 2026. That's a more modern thing. If someone wanted to say that something happened in the past, they wouldn't say, oh, it happened in the year XYZ. They would say it happened during the consulship of Roman man, instead of a specific thing. So they'd use names, they'd use whoever was in charge at the time, which was quite interesting to learn. It might not actually be the year 2026. I mean, years are extremely arbitrary. They're based off real things, but it's very arbitrary. I don't think we ever really found out the answer on what year a Hungarian person would say it was in the year 1000. I think we've kind of reached a conclusion that most Hungarians, because of the tribal origins, probably didn't really use a year system. They obviously had the calendar and they knew that how long a year was, but I don't think they probably recorded history in quite the same detail like that. I think they would use names, a bit like the Romans did. But yeah, that was just assumptions. You get a lot of that in my history streams. This is probably what happens. Probably close enough. It's an educated guess. Miao. I think we settled on that they wouldn't understand the concept. Exactly. Because it is a bit of a modern concept, giving a number to a year. Anyway, are we ready for the Hussite Wars? Is everyone done chalking their peanuts and eating their snacks and throwing paper planes at me and whatnot? Are we ready for Hussite Wars? Because I am. Hi Miao, just got home from seeing Union Pacific. Big boy. Oh, what, a train? Cool. I assume it's a train. Union Pacific's the railroad, right? Ab urbe conditia. Yeah, thank you. That's the last one I needed. Thank you for the follow, Atoro. Hey, sweetie. Yeah, it's a steam locomotive. Awesome. Was it nice? You'll try and pay attention. It's fine. The Hussite Wars is a bit more simple, to be completely honest. But we do have some difficult to pronounce names. Do we have our Czech people here who can check my pronunciation? Because I have actually written down how to pronounce the names. I'll still probably find a way to butcher them, but I'm gonna try my best. Enjoyable, thank you. Shrimple. Alright, let's get started on the Hussite Wars. Quick little show of hands, not Brovius, because it's cheating. Who knows why it's called the Hussite Wars? Where does the name the Hussites come from? Anyone know that? I feel like we're probably starting from a blank slate, because Hussite Wars is well, okay, and barring Czech people. Actually, no, Czech people can tell us. Why are they called the Hussites? Jan Hus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jan Hus is a interesting character. He, essentially, let's get my little notes up so I can give you the right dates. So, in 1415, there was a council held, to basically, the church was having problems. There were schisms arriving, as will continue to happen throughout a very long period of time. But there were schisms starting to rise in the church. Changes in how people run things, and a meeting was held to discuss, what should be done. And one of the people that came forward in this meeting was Jan Hus. Jan Hus, even. And he criticizes the church. He says that the Catholic Church is corrupt. He says that the church is too focused on tithes, too focused on money, on gold, all this sort of stuff. The sort of stuff that you see being criticized a lot when Protestantism, comes across and becomes more prominent. He is not a Protestant, bear that in mind. He is a Catholic, he is a Catholic reformer, and he wants to reform the Catholic Church. He is not taken very nicely. People do not like that. He comes from Bohemia, and he returns to Bohemia, and he starts preaching against the Catholic Church. He starts saying he starts saying that the Catholic Church needs reform and that there's corruption and everything's wrong and fucked up. But yeah. He, as a result for that, is tried for heresy, and he is burnt at the stake. And his followers, the Hussites, and they're called... This isn't even a fucking Czech word. I just don't know how to say it properly. Calixkanites? Hold on. Hold on. How do we say it? Calixtines. Calixtines! There you go. The Hussites, we're going to call them much easier. Oh, history check today? History indeed, my darling. Yeah, not Martin Luther. Different people. But yeah. These people, their demands are basically that lay people should have more power within the Catholic Church. And the reason they're called Calixtanites is that is a Latin word, basically meaning that, the people of the chalice, basically, because they want to be, they believe that lay people should be able to take communion rather than just priests. And indeed, the Hussites, their flag ends up being a chalice, and that's exactly the reason why. I love pay-to-win church. That's certainly an adjective for it. But yeah, vibrating with knowledge. Please don't vibrate with knowledge. Anyway, so obviously these Hussites are very unhappy about their guy being fucking burnt alive at the stake. Can you believe that? I know, I'm shocked. They're not very happy about that. They would put it on their top 10 bad things to happen this year. And they get really pissed off. So, we're going to put a pin in that just for a second, because we are now going to Bohemia. And right now, Violet, you still playing Kingdom Come Deliverance? We have someone in charge. We have Wenceslas IV. Now, he is the king of Bohemia at this time. And he has recently been not doing great. He has a lot of influence put over him by a lot of different people. Most importantly, Sigismund of Luxembourg, who had previously, in 1402, invaded Bohemia in an attempt to snatch a crown. He did not completely succeed, but he does have a lot of influence over Wenceslas at the moment. They are half-brothers, I believe. So yeah, here's two of our major powers. They're going to be quite important later on. And yeah, these Hussites in Bohemia start to arm themselves. They basically leave society a little bit. They decide that they don't like the Catholic Church, and they're going to go start their own little groups. And they leave society. They go and make their little camps, and these camps have a lot of wagons in them, which will be very important later on. And to start with, they militarize themselves. They absolutely do, but they don't really kind of make the first move. They are these little communes in the middle of nowhere, doing their own thing, for a few months. Burn the steak. What are we gonna have for dinner now? But yeah, so the Hussite Wars start in 1419, and we have Jan Zizka, Jan Zizka, God, and Jan Zizka. Zizka, there you go, fuck me. It'll take a bit of practice. We have Jan Zizka, and they together start the Hussite Wars. They storm Prague City Hall, and they get all the Catholics who are inside, and they throw them out the windows. And this event is called the First Defenestration of Prague. Yeah, the first one, there's more. But yes, the Defenestration of Prague, they throw them out the window. And shockingly, this really upsets Catholics an awful lot. Defenestration, such a cool word. Yes, they are defenestrated, which means to throw someone out a window. It's a very specific word. Makes sense, he got a lot of pressure on him. His father was Charles IV, after all. Oh my. Mongolians had archers with flaming arrows, however... Are we talking about the Mongolians again? Oh, you're talking about the wagons and the... Oh, I see. Interesting. I see. Tomohisa. Sorry. I've got to do so much reading today. It's kind of frying my brain a little bit. I apologize. I am dyslexic, which is why you will see me trip over my words when I'm reading things sometimes. I do apologize. But yeah. Tomohisa. Hey, sweetie. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. Anyway. So. Zizka and Jalivsky have defenestrated these Catholic officials, and Wenceslas IV fucking dies in like 2 weeks. It might be related, it could be stress, but he is very old at the time. He probably suffered a heart attack or a stroke, and yeah, he just fucking dies 2 weeks later. Zizka's so powerful, he just willed him into death. Yeah, he just dies of death. Exactly. So, we've now got Wenceslas dead, and this leads to a succession crisis. Yippee! But yes, the crown is meant to go to Sigismund of Luxembourg, the leader of Hungary right now, and Germany. Both of them. But the Hussites do not like this. I forgot to mention, Wenceslas is actually kind of okay with Hussites. Just a little bit. He kind of puts up with them initially. So the Hussites and Wenceslas, they were cool. They kind of got along okay-ish, barely, sort of, just a little bit. But yeah, Sigismund fucking hates the Hussites, and the Hussites obviously are very opposed, and they now rise up in open revolt. They are now at war, and yeah, different groups of Hussites. Basically, yeah, they leave society, like I said before, and they go set up encampments all across mostly southern Bohemia, Prague down to the southern Bohemia, and they set up loads of encampments, loads of different groups of them. You'll see later on that there are lots of different types of Hussites. We won't cover them right now, just assume that they're all the same thing for now, just so it's less confusing. So, these Hussites are all they're encamping themselves, and they are preparing for war. The Catholics do the exact same thing. They start raising armies, and yeah, we have our first battle in 1419. A Hussite encampment is moving up north, and we have Jivohost. Yeah, Jivohost. The Battle of Jivohost. Oh god. Yeah, I think Jivohost? Something like that. Fuck me. And Peter of... This is going to be horrible. I'm going to cry. Peter of Konopiste. I think that was pretty right. I think that was a pretty good try. Konopiste attempts to defeat a Hussite force that is moving north. But they are defeated at this battle of Jivohorst. I'm definitely butchering that one. But yeah, they're defeated. The Catholics have suffered their first battle and their first loss. Their first of many losses. Is this propaganda? Yes, it is Hussite propaganda in the form of huge titties. Dried was teaching me maths to straight. I guess I really never got it, you muppet. I knew you were a silly sausage. But yeah. So, they basically, yeah, the Catholics attack this Hussite encampment. They lose horribly, and fail to achieve anything. The first kind of proper battle we see is the first battle that Jan Zizka fights, and that is the Battle of Neckmere. And they're using a new tactic, and it's a tactic that will ensure that the Hussites do very well in battle. And it's a tactic that existed before, but this is the first time that it has been used in quite intense, proper battle. And because these Hussites are all traveling around in wagons, they're very nomadic at the... Nomadic's not the wrong word, but you know, they're outside society. They've got these huge encampments, and they use wagons to move their stuff around, their people around. And they use these wagons to their effect, to their benefit. And they essentially make a fortress, a mobile fortress out of these wagons. They build makeshift fortifications and surround themselves with wagons, and they fight from here. And essentially they've got a little mobile castle, and that's very, very effective. This tactic essentially means that they can't siege them properly. You know, it's a fortress that cannot be sieged because it is mobile, because it's moving. You can't move a huge army into position to cut them off. And you will see this loads and loads of times. The mobility that the Hussites have are one of their greatest strengths, that they can just pack up and move and get out of positions. It's extremely effective for them. And yeah, this first battle, Nekmir, they absolutely destroy the Catholics. They don't stand a chance. Zizka immediately shows himself to be an extremely talented commander, and he will continue to be a very talented commander. But yeah, these wagons will later on become specialized war wagons, and this is the main Hussite tactic that is used. They have wagons basically with big walls, little fortifications with holes for crossbows, for guns, that they can just deploy, they can hide behind, and yeah, these war wagons are very, very effective. Battle of Sudemev. I think we'll get to that one. I might do. I'm not sure. I might have missed that, but yeah. There's loads of cases where the Hussites are heavily outnumbered, but this tactic will save them. Anyway, spoilers. We've only just had our first battle. So Zizka, he goes to Pilsen. This is a city in Bohemia. Initially, he is besieged, and he actually loses the city. It's not quite a defeat. It's the closest thing you could call to defeat for him. But he agrees to safe passage. This is before he's kind of got his reputation. I don't think he would get away with that later on. But he agrees that in exchange for him being allowed to leave and his retinue, the Catholics can take the city from him. So he's let to go. But the Catholics aren't very happy about this deal. While they initially let him go, Peter, our Peter from before, Konopiste, he pursues. He follows after Zizka and his army, and he's like, haha, these suckers, they thought we'd let him go, but we wouldn't. But Zizka, being very, very talented general, lures them into swampland. He completely surrounds them, completely massacres them, and absolutely wipes the floor with the Catholic army that is trying to trick them and ambush them. They get counter-ambushed, they get defeated entirely. This is the second loss for our lovely Peter here. He's on a losing streak that will continue. So, he's defeated, and yeah. This is, that's Sudema. There you go. How do you say it? Oh yeah, I remember it's really weirdly said. It's Sudomurge. Fuck me. I wrote the pronunciations and I'm reading them wrong because I've forgotten. I just thought Konopiste was almost spot on. Thank you. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Okay, Czech is a hard language, and they've got silly names. And they're hard to read. Okay, but yeah. But yeah, that's the battle in which he defeats them, kicks their ass despite being completely outnumbered, and then he goes to join the other Hussites on the hill of Tabor, which is where we'll see a name pop up later on called the Taborites. This is where the name comes from, a hill called Tabor. It is where one of their main encampments is in the early war, and yeah, Zizka goes and joins up with them. So, time passes. 1420, Sigismund of Luxembourg, the ruler of Hungary and Germany, is preparing to invade Bohemia. He has not got the crown because because the Hussites do not want it, but he's ready to go and take it. So, his supporter, Pope Martin, declares a crusade against the Hussites. This is the first crusade against the Hussites. There will be more. So yeah, the Hussites have pissed the Catholics off just enough for there to be a crusade against them. So, Martin V, he's got a silly head. I saw a painting of him. He's got a very funny head. Declares a crusade against them, and Sigismund marches with 30,000 men on Prague. And I'm going to leave you with how many people 30,000 men is, especially for the time period. It's a lot. And I'm just going to have a sip of water. But yeah, Sigismund rocks up to Prague, and the Hussites basically rush to defend the city. The city actually isn't Hussite controlled yet, but they know if Sigismund arrives at Prague, and it's Catholics that are in charge of it, they're just going to let him in, and then Sigismund owns Prague. So the Hussites preemptively invade Prague and take it over. So now they've rushed in, they've taken over Prague. Sigismund is still on his way. He's a little way away, but he's getting there slowly. And they declare a hetman of Prague, and it's Michaelus of Hus. Yes, I think so. Michaelus. So, while the Hussites are in Prague, Odoric of Rosenberg tries to destroy the Hussite fortification at Tabor. So you remember down south in Bohemia, we had Tabor. It's a big fortification. It's kind of a bit of a stronghold for the Hussites at the moment. So we've got this guy. He is quite important later on. Odoric of Rosenberg. He's going to pop up a few times. He is trying to preemptively, while everyone's away, while everyone's over at Prague, down here, Tabor seems very vulnerable. So what the Hussites do, again, very mobile. They're very good at mobilizing, attacking preemptively, getting around because of the way that they fight. So Michaelus goes south and he defeats them. Now remember, Michaelus is the hetman of Prague, so currently he's out. He's on a little trip to go and fight. So yeah, we've now got Michaelus out of the city, defending Tabor. They win, yippee, yahoo, but they're not back in time, because what happens is Sigismund finally arrives at Prague a little earlier than expected, and that leaves our lovely Jan Zizka, 30k is at least more than 5. Oh, hello, F1. Hey, sweetie. Hey, darling. Yeah, we've got Zizka defending Prague against Sigismund of Luxembourg, who wants to take it over. So, the battle's very interesting. I like this battle. They are very outnumbered, extremely outnumbered. Sigismund has 30,000 men. The Hussites have a small encampment, big encampment even, of 7,000 men. Interestingly enough, the Hussites are so good at fighting with their little wagon fortifications that they actually elect not to defend Prague, but they actually encamp up on a hill opposite Prague. And the Sigismund's army is forced to attack them up in this fortification, up this hill. It's a hard battle. They fight and they break through the defenses that Zizka has set up. But inside Prague, there is a small amount of forces still there in Prague. And while this army is bitterly fighting to get through these very, very hardy fortifications that they've set up, another army comes from Prague and it meets, and Sigismund's army is completely encircled. It's hit from both sides, front and back. It gets sandwiched and they rout and they are cut down. They are absolutely massacred by Zizka's forces, and Sigismund retreats. He runs away, he leaves, and is completely defeated by this smaller force of Hussites. Squished indeed. Prague, in its 1,100 plus year history, has fallen just 6 times. Interesting. But yeah. So, yeah. Sigismund's army gets squished. And where are we now? Beep. Sorry. Yep. Oh, yeah. So, later on, interestingly enough, during this period, because it's been so little time since they actually took over Prague, Prague actually has 2 castles in it. And they haven't actually managed to take the castles. So you've got these 2 castles of enemy soldiers inside the city. And I'm pretty sure that's why Zizka decided to defend the fortification on the hill instead of defending Prague. Because Prague had these 2 castles filled with enemy soldiers that he probably didn't want to descend upon him in the midst of battle. So it was quite a clever maneuver from him to use his just as good wagon fortification. Stop squishing. You guys, your minds are in the gutter. SMH. But yes, Sigismund actually does return, despite his army being fucking decimated. He returns a few months later, and he attempts to better coordinate with these castles, but he fails miserably. So he's tried to take Prague twice now, and he has lost both times to Jan Zizka. And he then, he leaves, he fucks off, and making sure I haven't missed anything here, because this is a relatively crucial point. Okay, after Sigismund leaves, the Hussites are now in a position where they don't have to worry about a foreign king invading for a little bit right now. So they start to expand their control. They now own Prague. Prague is theirs, and they are going to start expanding outwards. And they do. They take part in multiple battles to try and secure Hussite control over Bohemia at the moment. And indeed, Zizka of the Taborites, because, he associates with this group called the Taborites, and they control southern Bohemia at the moment. The hill of Tabor is kind of the main place. That's what they're named after. So when I say Taborite, that's Zizka's team, and I'm going to start differentiating them because there are different Hussites. If I say Hussites now, Hussites are the ones that control Prague and central Bohemia. Taborites control southern Bohemia. There's other ones too, but those are the 2 important ones right now. Prague as a whole is separated into 2 sides, Old Town and New Town, thus 2 New Town even, thus 2 castles. I see. Prague's cool. I'd like to visit Prague. Honestly, this has put me in the mood to visit the Czech Republic. I'm gonna be honest. It's a cool country. Anyway, meow. So, one of Zizka's biggest fights. Do you remember Uldrich of Rosenberg? Uldrich even of Rosenberg. He fights him. They meet again, and they fight again, and this time Uldrich is killed in battle, and Zizka, his bitter rival, they had a bit of beef going back, and Zizka wanted his revenge, so he's hunted down this army, he's killed Uldrich, and the reason they had beef is a very long time ago, Uldrich had, his father, the father of Uldrich, had taken the family estate from Zizka's father. So he was the reason that Zizka was landless. So he was very pissed off about it. But yes, he fucking dies. Exactly. Is that really bad pronunciation? Is that why you're dying? The family estate. Their house. Their land. Meow. Sorry. I'm really bad at talking today. I apologize. Meow. But yeah. So, by 1421, most of southern Bohemia is now under control by these Taborites. As the Hussites as a whole. And Zizka has become the supreme hetman. He is in charge of all the Hussites at the moment. And he is launching a campaign westwards to take Krashov, where Bohuslav of Chevalberg, fucking Jesus Christ. We're just gonna call him Bohuslav, because that second part's really hard to say. Was taken prisoner. So yeah, Krashov was taken, Bashislav was taken prisoner. Bashislav is a interesting person because he will later become an ally of Zizka. He will switch sides, and he will actually become a very important person later on into the Hussite wars. He will actually end up leading the Taborites. So, after this, Zizka continues to take many, many rural-controlled areas. The Hussites are really starting to establish themselves now, especially the most important parts of Bohemia. The central area, the southern area, a little bit of the north, a little bit of the west now. You've still got Moravia. Moravia becomes a big problem later on. Moravia is a pretty large area to the southeast of Bohemia. Might help if you had a map of Bohemia. I don't, unfortunately. There's no map of Bohemia here. Would you like me to draw Bohemia? I would give a very bad map of Bohemia if I wanted to, but you've got to imagine it, okay? Just imagine a bean. It's bean-shaped. Anyway. Interesting thing about Zizka before this point. Something happens to him, but something before this point, Zizka notably only has one eye. We don't actually know how he lost his original eye. I don't believe it's written anywhere. There's theories. But yeah, Zizka only has one eye. But he then takes part in a battle. He's doing very well for himself. But during a siege, he is wounded during this campaign, and he loses his other eye. Zizka is now blind, which is what makes him really fucking cool, because he does not give up. Despite being blinded, he now literally cannot see. But he will continue to lead his forces during the siege, and he wins. He has his generals, he has his men describe the battlefield to him, and continues to lead his forces, despite not being able to see the battle that's happening. So, yeah, Zizka does not give up command. He is now blind. A diet is now held. A diet is basically a big meeting between leaders, and it's held between the Hussites and the Bohemian nobility, and they basically agree, you know what, neither of us fucking like Sigismund. So they're saying, alright, we will choose someone else to be king, not Sigismund. He's a dickhead. We hate him, which was appropriate. So instead, they offered it to the Polish king, who was Vladislav, something like that. Not important. Polish is even harder to read than Czech. The second, he refuses. He doesn't want any of that shit. Vladislav, that's kind of how you say it, okay? Chubby Raccoons, thank you for the follow, darling. Yeah, Vladislav rejects it. He does not want it. So they're like, alright, fine. We'll give it to the Lithuanian king instead. So indeed, they do. The Lithuanian king actually accepts. He says, I'll become the acting regent of Bohemia. Also, thank you for the follow, Monkey. But he doesn't actually, he doesn't want to do it himself. He appoints a regent. And this is where it gets really annoying and confusing, because you want to know what the Lithuanian regent is called? Yeah, he's also called Sigismund. So we've got two Sigismunds now who want to be king, who are in competition with each other. So we've got Sigismund of Luxembourg, which is the Hungarian/German guy. And then we've got Sigismund, what was his last name? It's written somewhere. The Lithuanian king's called Voyatas. Sigismund Horibut. Something like that. I'm just going to call, if I'm talking about Sigismund of Luxembourg, I'll call him Sigismund of Luxembourg, because the other Sigismund, or the Lithuanian Sigismund, yeah, that's what we'll call him. We'll call him the Lithuanian Sigismund, because I don't want to try and pronounce his surname, because I say it wrong. So yeah. Hey, teacher Miao, did you have to punish naughty students recently? Everyone's been very, very well behaved. Yes, I did know Hitlers that abused him. We're talking about the Hussite wars, darling. I think you may be it's a little bit in the future. But yes. Also, hi Tamako, hey sweetie. Vladislav, yeah. Fucking, yeah, a few centuries off. A little bit ahead of the times there, darling. And wrong country. Close enough. I guess. Anyway, so, we've now got the Lithuanian king claiming Bohemia. Now Hussites are kind of okay with it. They roll with it. They say, you know what, it's better than fucking Sigismund of Luxembourg. So be it. So be it. So, we now have our, how do you say his name again? So, you've got Jan Zizka. He now takes control of Prague. It's no longer Jan Zizka. It's Zalewski. Zalewski? Yeah, I think it was Zalewski. And he is an interesting fella. It's quite funny, actually. So we've got Zizka. He's been an absolutely amazing, incredibly effective commander. But of course, he's been blinded now. So this guy, Zalewski, rocks up and he's like, you know what? I'll take command of our forces now. And he rocks up north and he is immediately defeated. He loses really badly, and this is the first major Hussite loss. It's as soon as Zizka gives up command, the Hussites take their first loss, and they are defeated by a Margrave of the HRE, Frederick the Quarrelsome. And I love that name. How annoying do you have to be? That's basically like being called Frederick the Dickhead. I don't know how he got the nickname, the Quarrelsome, but yeah, Frederick the Royal Pain in the Arse. That really annoying guy, Frederick. Yeah, that's him. But he wins that battle, and Zalewski is, he returns home in shame, and he is then tried and executed by the Hussites for being a fucking terrible leader, which I just think is really funny. So yeah, he shows up, suffers the Hussites' first loss, and then is executed for it. Which is one way to enforce victory, I guess. But yeah, this is actually so far. Hell yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, my darling. Let's send the Quarrelsome one out to fight, exactly. Anyway. So yeah, Zizka is now kind of back in command. The Lithuanians. This is another really funny part that I really like. The Lithuanians are currently trying to deal with the Hussites. You've got Sigismund, the Lithuanian Sigismund, and he's trying to deal with the Hussites. He's doing really, really badly. He's not a very good leader at all. So the Germans, they genuinely, they show up and they're like, it's okay. We'll show you how it's done. And they declare a second crusade. I believe this is the second crusade now. And it's really funny. So they send 20,000 men under Louis the 7th, the bearded, and they proceed to get their shit rocked. They get fucking demolished by 6,000 Hussites. The outnumbered Hussites at Zatek, they cannot take the fortress. They take heavy losses, and I love this. This is one of my favorite parts. They flee. And they don't flee because of losses. The reason that they end up running is because they hear news that Zizka's arriving. So, and I just think that's awesome. Zizka is genuinely one of the coolest people in history, because this blinded man is such a talented, powerful general that's won every single battle he's fought. And he is so terrifying and such a prominent commander that he makes an army of 20,000 men rout because he's planning on rocking up. And he's cool. I like Zizka. I'm a Zizka Foxcat fan. So yeah, I can sing that song by heart, by the way. What's that? Get bonked, German boy. One eye since childhood. Yeah, so he only had one eye as a child, and then at a siege during his expansions, he lost the other eye, so he is completely blind at this point. He is totally and completely blind. So yeah. We don't know why he only had one eye. There's conflicting theories on how he lost it. Some people say to disease, some people say that he lost it in an accident. It's hard to know. But yeah. So yeah. The second crusade is defeated. The Germans are like, yeah, let me show you how it's done. We'll show you how to deal with these pesky Hussites, and then they get their shit rocked and they lose, which is really funny. So yeah, After that, we've got Hungarian Sigismund of Luxembourg. He is back. And he was actually initially agreeing to help the Germans during their Second Crusade. He's late. He's late to that. The Lithuanians also attempted to help. They retreated as soon as they learned that the Germans had retreated. But Sigismund of Luxembourg, he's still wanting to give it a good old try. He wants to give it a good old go. So he rocks up a few months late, and he arrives at Kutna-Hora. And initially, things are looking good. He has surrounded Zizka. He has taken Zizka by surprise and completely surrounded him. Now, if we know anything about medieval warfare, this is the part where Zizka gets cut down and massacred. Would be the case if it were not Zizka in command, because Zizka, despite being completely outnumbered, completely surrounded by the enemy, manages to break out by attacking the royal camp directly. They escape, and they're not pursued by Sigismund's army. There's another victory for Zizka, once again outnumbered, once again at a disadvantage, yet somehow manages to pull out and win. So, yeah, Lithuanian Sigismund has now arrived. And after all that, I'll admit, I don't know the politics behind why this happens, but basically, Zizka still fought blind. Well, he didn't fight, personally. Well, obviously, he was blind. But he commanded the battles, yes. Even though he was blind, he still commanded his armies. He had his trusted advisors basically describing the battlefield to them, and he made the choices. He still commanded the armies. But yeah, he literally had people describing what's going on to him. It's really cool. I like this blind general. Yeah, this dude be playing Warhammer. Exactly. I see, it's a Hussite marching song. I see, cool. Anyway, so Zizka has now left. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I missed a part. No, it's not just that. They're not pursued, but Zizka hasn't had enough because he comes back with reinforcements and defeats Sigismund as they're trying to leave and go to Moravia. So not only does he escape, he then comes back and proceeds to kick their ass. Sorry, I missed that part. And then as Sigismund attempts to leave, they're pursued and they're massacred. And yeah, this is the last time that Sigismund of Luxembourg will attempt to invade militarily Bohemia. He gives up after this. Because he's got his shit rocked twice now by the Hussites, and he's had enough. He's had enough of that. He's not trying that again. He's learned his lesson. Bro could conjure up an apple in his mind's eye. Check memes when you have a chance. Oh god. I will. I'm talking right now, but I will. So yeah. After all this, the Lithuanian Sigismund, he's arrived, and he is now the Hussite-approved king of Bohemia. He has absolutely no power. He is a puppet, but he's there. He's got very limited authority. So, we now have Karlstein Castle. This is besieged. This is a small little castle that's basically held out against the Hussites. It's quite near Prague, and it's been holding out for a very long time. It's still controlled by Catholic royalist forces. And it's quite an important castle. Karlstein Castle, fucking beautiful. Look at pictures. Look it up right now. Someone put how it's spelt in chat, and look up what a beautiful castle that is. I want to visit it. It's a beautifully preserved castle. You can still see it to this day. Lovely, lovely castle. But yeah. Point aside. This is now under siege by the Hussites. So the Germans, they launch another crusade. This is technically the Third Crusade, but it's not what would become known as the Third Crusade. It's quite weird like that. There is a Third Crusade later on, but it's actually the Fourth Crusade, and then there's a Fourth Crusade, but it's actually the Fifth. That is because this one fails miserably. This one barely even counts as a crusade in history books because it's so pathetic. But they attempt to come and relieve the castle. But they never even reach the castle, and they refuse to fight the Hussites. I even put a little meme in chat, and it's like, you know the hands up meme? It's like, who wants a Third Crusade? And everyone puts their hand up, and they're like, who wants to fight the Hussites? And then there's nothing. because no one wanted to actually fight. So they just give up and go home, which is very funny. So it's not even a proper crusade. They tried their best. They gave it. Karlstein, yeah. Karlstein. Yeah, I did ask someone else to put it in chat for me. But it's a lovely, beautiful castle. Really, really something else. I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and then we will continue. Because, yeah, now we've got something. Remember I told you to put a pin in Moravia? Because it's quite important. This is where it becomes quite important. Ah, sippy, sippy. Yummy, yummy. Alright, yeah, this is where Moravia becomes important, because it gets invaded. It gets invaded by the Austrians. That's a gorgeous castle. It is. It's really pretty. But yeah. Moravia, which is southeastern Bohemia, it gets invaded by the Austrians. Yeah, the Austrians rock up and they occupy Moravia. So now we're not actually... now we've got even more people in the mix, because now a lot of Bohemia is occupied by Austria. We've got a few holdouts for the original Bohemian royalty. They're basically defeated. And now we've got the Hussites. Except the Hussites, like I say before, they're fractured. They have a lot of issues with each other. And yeah, we've got the two most important ones at the moment. There will be another faction showing up later on. But for now, there's a few of them. There's 4 of them, really. But I'm going to tell you the 2 important ones, which is the Taborites. That's Zizka's ones. And we've got the Chalice people, or the Hussites. They go by Hussites. And they're the ones that own Prague. They're in central Bohemia. The Taborites are in southern Bohemia. So, yeah. Oh yeah, part of this Moravia being invaded thing is that the Hussites do go on a quite lengthy campaign to try and take a decent part of Moravia, and they do. They take quite a lot of ground in Moravia. They continue to win very, very well. But yes, the Taborites are radicals. They're very extreme. Zizka is an extremist, just straight up. He is quite a radical reformist. The normal Hussites, they're a bit more chill. They're more happy, and you'll see why in a little bit, what makes them more chill and what makes Zizka more extreme. Zizka's really cool. He's a really interesting general, but he does do some fucked up stuff at some points. And actually, I'll give you an example of it right now, because we have other factions too, even more extreme factions. And Zizka initially actually orders these extremists to be executed, burnt at the stake. The more extreme Hussites are burnt at the stake. There is a lot of political infighting that happens between the Hussites, and Zizka is a bit of a stereotype because he is just that kind of weathered old man who's a veteran, and he's decided he's had enough of politics. You know, he used to be there for the love of the game, and it's gotten boring and political. So he goes and he starts his own movement. He makes the new Taborites. He leaves the Taborites to our guy from before. What's his name again? Oh! Thank you, Brovius, for the gift sub to Blue. That's very kind. Karlstein Castle is up there with Mijay Castle in terms of beauty, in my opinion. There's lots of beautiful castles in the world. Lots of them. Anyway. Sorry, you guys are distracted. Well, you should not being distracted. I'm reading my chat. Lord forbid. Castles are epic, though. That is true, Nelly. That is true. By the way, Bloody, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about anything. Has this been accurate so far, or accurate enough? Since you seem to know a lot about the Hussite Wars, and Brovius maybe too. But yeah, Zizka has now left. Oh, that was it. Yeah, he leaves the Taborites to Boleslav of Schramberg, or however you say it again. Yeah, he leaves it to Boleslav. And he goes and founds the new Taborites. And these guys are to the east of the current Hussites. They are east of Prague. They're kind of, to be honest, quite central. As central Bohemia as you can get. Just next to Moravia, you got the new Taborites, and then you've got Prague over here. So yeah, they're now bordering these more moderate Hussites that live in Prague. And yeah, the new Taborites are now Zizka's faction of choice. So, he begins occupying land, he being Zizka. And he has a few battles that are quite successful. He fights against the local lord at Hussite, and he fights Chenek of Wartenberg, who is an interesting character. I won't go too much into him, but just for summary, he swapped sides like 6 times during this war. He is a very, very interesting person. But yeah, he fights a battle against him. And then things start to go a little south. This is the start of Hussite civil war. They start kind of getting in each other's throat because Zizka attacks a garrisoned castle by Prague forces. So this is a Hussite faction that has been attacked by Zizka now. And as a result, the Hussites being the more moderates, attack the Taborites. They send Divish Borshek to fight him, and he is defeated at the Battle of Strakov Dvor. Strakov Dvor? I think so. The Hussites are now fighting each other. They're now at war. They are now in open conflict, and how have I forgotten how to say his name? I think my mind just fried. Zizka. Oh my god, I lost how to say his name for a second there. Zizka. Yeah, Zizka's winning. He wins that first battle, and he then begins a campaign into Hussite territory. He starts attacking, he starts making his way towards Prague. He wins battle after battle after battle. He is taking land from these moderate Hussites. And yeah, the Prague Hussites actually ally themselves with some other factions of Hussites, and some Catholics. Yeah, I know. These more moderate Hussites are actually quite happy to ally with the Catholics, which they initially rebelled against, to deal with Zizka, and they formed the League of St. Gall. Divish was a good friend of Zizka for a long time before the Hussite Wars. I didn't know that. Thank you for the extra info, my darling. And was that hell yeah to my my accuracy so far? Appreciate learning more about it. Hell yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, my darling. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss things at the moment, is the main thing. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of betrayal and a lot of heartbreak and whatnot, and rivalries and all that sort of stuff. I'm just giving you kind of a general overview. We're going, to be honest, we are kind of finishing here. It does carry on for a little bit. This is kind of part 1 to the Hussite Wars, and I didn't want to go too deep into it, because after that it turns into less civil war and more just international war and whatnot. But yeah, so Zizka remains undefeated against this League of St. Gall, and in the spring of 1424 he attacks the Prague Hussites. He invades, he takes a lot of land, and yeah, during one battle they manage to catch Zizka off guard. They force him to retreat. I know, Zizka caught off guard. You can guess what happens next. They then encircle him near Kostelets, and yeah, of course this is where the mighty Zizka meets his demise. I'm just kidding, of course not. He breaks out and he lures the pursuers into his own territory and defeats them entirely, because he's just fucking built different. And then, yeah, Zizka positions himself outside of Prague and agrees to a truce under Sigismund, the Lithuanian Sigismund. They instead focus on defeating the Austrians in Moravia. And to be honest, I think rather than it being part 1 of the Hussites, we're kind of telling the story of Zizka, yeah? Because unfortunately, is Zizka a Jedi? Honestly, yes. But unfortunately, Jedis aren't immune to the plague, and neither was Zizka, because he fucking died of the plague. It's a little unceremonious, but he wasn't going to die in war. That wasn't going to happen to him. Unfortunately, yeah, during this campaign into Moravia, before he can really do much, he gets extremely sick, and he dies of the plague, and there is no more Zizka. Which is a shame, because he's very cool. I like to imagine what might have happened in the Hussite Wars had he not died. It might have gone quite differently. It might have been even more... Hungary may have become a major European... Not Hungary, sorry, the Czech... the Bohemia would have become a major European power to rival Germany, perhaps. Who knows? Who knows? He did genuinely seem undefeatable. But yeah, unfortunately, the plague defeated him. Because no one can beat the plague, apparently. You can't tactic your way out of plague. Only nature can kill a force of nature. True, true, true. But that is where we're going to leave our Hussite story. I can go into more detail on it in a future stream. But I wasn't able to write detailed notes about what happens next. But it's a lot of politicking. It's a lot of infighting between the Hussites who then unify. And then, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth that happens. But that is kind of our Hussite history. They then campaign into Moravia. They basically take over all of Bohemia as a group. They kind of befriend each other. That was kind of the end of their civil warring. There's a little bit more. I don't have time. I'll do it with this. Excuse me. But hey, sweetie, nice to see you. But yeah, there's Zizka. Very interesting fellow, very interesting story, very fun. I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you found it interesting and exciting. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, sorry, a good boy Bingus. I don't know why it doesn't show up properly in my chat. It's really annoying, actually. You did. Oh, okay, it does show up in chat. All right, Bravius, come here. Come here, because you taught me so much about what we learned today, except the Hussite Wars. You didn't help me with that, but you helped with the Hungarian history. So... thank you. Good boy. Good boy. I'm so proud of you. You're so clever. You're my little good boy. You know that, right? Yeah. Thank you. Very helpful. Very sweet. Meow, meow, meow. Do we feel like we've learned something today, chat? Do we feel educated? Happy to help. Oh my goodness. How extensive was the use of guns? A lot. Very. The Hussite war wagons, we kind of glazed over them a little bit. They were used extensively. Very well. In fact, the Hussites ended up being hired as mercenaries a lot, and they used those very effectively. But yes.
Head feels heavier, meow, meow.
Your head feels heavier. The big brain. But yeah. Hussites used guns and crossbows in their war wagons. Guns were still very early. Really, really early guns. They mostly used bombards. They would use a lot of bombards, which were early cannons. They were very simple cannons. They were just big metal tubes, which you stuffed full of gunpowder, shoved a big fucking ball in, and then you just fired it and hoped it fucking blew up whatever was over there, which was quite effective, to be honest. But yeah, Hussites did use early pistols. They used those sort of stuff. But yeah, they were one of the first people to use gunpowder weapons en masse. But they did also use crossbows and traditional stuff. They also used heavy armor, or whatever they could really get their hands on, to be honest. Hey Suki, hey sweetie, nice to see you. Pistali? I think that's right. Pistali? Yeah, pistols, you know. In English, it is pistol with an E. Pistol. But yeah. Is there a class for special students? Are you a special student? It's quite funny. I actually did used to teach SEN, which is why I'm so good at dealing with you lot. Meow. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry you caught at the end. We will be uploading this VOD as a YouTube video. So if you missed any parts and you found it very interesting, you kind of wanted to catch some extra stuff, you can. You are more than welcome to. But yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, just adjusting my trackers a bit. They've gone a bit wayward. But yeah, thank you all for joining me today. I know it's a bit shorter when it's like this. Sorry. I know it's a bit shorter. It's draining to do a lot of history, to be completely honest. But if people do have questions, we can still stick around for a little longer. We can still continue to yap a little bit and go meow, 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 and so on and so forth, you know. But yeah. Oh, Wolfus, you also wanted a good boy? Okay, Wolfus, come in. Because you were so helpful with my Hussite history. You are also a very, very good boy. Good boy, Wolfus. Good boy. Cute little thing. Good boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Meow, meow, meow. He's overcoming his fear of women. I think he likes me more because I've covered the Czech history. I think he's forgiven me for traumatizing him so. But yeah. Meow, 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 meow. But yeah, you'll get a YouTube VOD. I'll upload that. Get it all covered. But yeah, did you guys find that interesting? Do you have any feedback for me? Do you have any extra information you want to throw on? Any questions you may have about all sorts of stuff? Feel free. Spazzy traumatized him last night in Repo. Oh, poor thing. I like this one. Oh my goodness, thank you. The paper's still blank. Chat didn't take any notes. Oh, how dare you. I might write up a quiz tomorrow. And you better know the answers. That's all I'm saying. You better be able to answer my quiz, or I'll get you. Grr. Grr and meow and grr. No quiz? Why not, huh? 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 You have to shout out the Miao Miao. I'm pretty sure they already know that I exist. Gotts von Büschelgen would still be it. Excuse me? That's a very German name. The German Knight. Oh, that one. You always bring him up. I may do. I wasn't asking for a request though. Grr, 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 grr. You weren't distracted at all. That's so good to hear. I'm so glad that you weren't distracted by anything at all. You were just looking at my lovely eyes as you were enraptured by my historical knowledge. Of course. Because I know you love that stuff. Ow. Yeah, okay, fine. You can bonk me. That's fair. Oh, a bonk and a pat. Make your mind up. What the hell? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But yeah. Alright, chat. What if I ask you a question? What if I... yeah. Alright, chat. I'm going to test you. I'm going to do a little test. Show of hands. Except Wolfist, because he already knew all this. How did Zizka lose his second eye? How was he blinded? Who remembers? Does anyone remember? Was anyone paying attention? It was me. The siege. Do you remember which siege? Actually, did I actually mention which siege it was? But no. Yes, you are right. He lost it during a siege. Well done. See, you were paying attention. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Meow Meow. Let's see. Can I ask you another question? I wonder. Let's do an early one. I mean, here's a simple one for you. How did the Hussite... What was the Hussite's main tactic that was so effective? What meant that they kept on winning battles? What was their tactic that they were famous for? Rabbi Castle, that was it. Yep, Wagon Fort. Well done, Brovius. I'm so proud of you. See, you were listening. I eated the first eye I got to Hungary. Oh, Hungary, of course, Hungary. Boom, boom, wagon. Hell yeah. Anyway. Well done. Okay, I'll take that as you were paying some attention, so I'm very proud of you. We shall leave it here, I think, my darlings. It is a shorter stream today. I do apologize, of course. It's just there's only so much history I can talk about without getting tired, and you can kind of tell that my brain's frying a bit. It was a fun stream, though. Tomorrow, it is a lot of yapping. It's a lot of having to think and use my small little mind. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, though. I am. Lots of follows, indeed. Thank you, everyone who followed. Thank you for all the bits and the subs and all that sort of stuff. Tomorrow, we're doing a very interesting stream. It's going to be strange. It's a genuinely quite strange stream because we are going to be doing a motion capture world. What this means is essentially... I will be in a world, like this one. Imagine it. I'm in this world, and I'm moving. And the world has a special video player built into it. And on my camera, on the left and right, there will be grey bars with flashing lights, which will be a bit unusual. It shouldn't be too distracting, I hope. It'll be about as... They shouldn't be too big. The center of the screen will still be... They'll go to about here-ish. around here, maybe a bit less. You know, this kind of area. So the sides of the screen will be greyish bars with flashing lights. And what that does is it sends an encoded message to that world's video player. So you guys in VR chat can go into VR, join the world, put that stuff in the video player, and a motion captured Miao will be there, and you can watch the stream in 3D. I can stream to you directly without you being in the world. You can come and watch the stream in 3D, and it'll be interactive, and you can come, I don't know, fucking do whatever the hell you want. I can't stop you, I'm not a cop. And it'll be motion captured. It'll be a giant test stream, so it'll be very big, raging around your city. And yeah, can I join in too? Well, it's not a join in thing. It's simply you just go to the world. There'll be a video player. You put a link to my stream in that video player, and it'll play. And you'll have a 3D Miao mimicking the movements that are happening on the stream in that world. So yeah, it'll be interactive. It'll be an experiment. You guys can tell me if you enjoy it or not. I'll put instructions on how to do it in a pinned message. It'll be interesting. I don't know what the... we'll give it a shot. It'll be an experiment. So that's happening tomorrow. If you just want to not watch normally, absolutely you can do that. There's nothing stopping you. It'll just have relatively annoying grey bars, which you'll just have to tank or put up with. People say that they're fine with the grey bars. If you join my Discord, there's a poll at the moment, and in that poll, you can actually see what it looks like, because I put an image as an example. So yeah, we can give that a try. It should be fun. Anyway, any closing words? I don't think so. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a while since we've done a history stream, to be completely honest, and I'm glad that we did. It was very fun. I really enjoyed learning about the Hussite Wars. I enjoyed getting to educate myself on them, because to be honest, they always seemed very interesting, but I just knew nothing about them. So it was an excellent excuse just to read up, learn a bit, learn about fucking Jan Zizka is, holy moly, goddamn, he is cool. He's a goddamn cool general. He's a new favorite of mine in terms of medieval military leaders. He is interesting, for sure. I don't know, I just like the idea of a blind man who's just extremely talented at commanding armies. It feels like a bit of a juxtaposition, but that was him. It's cool. But yeah, your next D&D character is going to be based on Zizka. That's a great idea. That's a brilliant idea. But yeah, it'll be going up on YouTube. Lots of love to you all. Let's find someone to raid out to, shall we? But who is the question? Who shall we raid? Meow, 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 meow. Do we have any of my friends online right now? Any friends? Got a few people. We do have a few people. We got Fenra. We could raid Fenra. She's got nice boobies. I know what you're old here. We have raided her a lot in the past few days, though. Has to be a paladin? Yeah. We could raid Dracula. Maybe. I think we're gonna do Fenra. Fenra's cool. Fenra's boggies. She's cute. She's doing a subathon at the moment, too. So fuck it. Let's go raid Fenra. She's lovely. She's playing Destiny 2 right now. So, you know, before that game perishes, burns to ash. But yeah. I've got 37 people here. More people than I expected to show up, to be honest, for a yappy stream, to be honest. I'm glad you guys enjoy these kind of non-loody kind of streams. It's quite nice, to be honest. It's... Oh, choked on my own throat there, sorry. It's nice that you guys show up for me sometimes, too. Although, yeah, obviously this helps. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I hope you did find it really interesting. Of course, join the Discord, !Discord in the chat. It'll give you a link. Do join, come hang out, come spend some time. We do history streams relatively often, so if you want to keep on top of when we might do that. Okay, relatively often is an exaggeration, like once a month. But, you know, we do them. We do special streams like this. So. And, of course, if you ever just want to talk about history with me in Discord, fucking feel free. I love talking about that shit. This is an outlet. This is to stop me yapping about history while I'm just playing a game, because otherwise I would get distracted all the time. It is my favorite thing. Meow meow. But yeah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Just join the Discord or I will kill you. Hi at Sunimiku. And goodbye, Sunimiku. We are raiding out. Farewell. Go give your love to Fenrir. Bye bye.